I'm here with Mr. Cash Michaels, and we've just reviewed his newest film. Please tell us about the nature of this film and the subject.
Well, the name of the film is Al, My Brother. It is the story of 82-year-old civil rights attorney and civil rights activist Al McSurely. He's a close advisor to Reverend Dr. William Barber, who is now co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, and also president of the Repairers of the Breach, former president of the North Carolina NAACP. But in his own right, Al at 82 has lived 3 lifetimes. He has been a civil rights activist who worked with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., with Floyd McKissick and Stokely Carmichael. He was held in contempt of Congress for his Fourth Amendment rights were violated, and he fought and won a settlement. That settlement he used to go to law school, became a brilliant civil rights attorney, sued the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill twice and won. And today he's at 82, as I said before, still has the fire in the belly, is still fighting strong for freedom, justice, and equality. The film also tells a story about the movement then and the movement now. And it links the two and pays homage to both. So I'm very proud of the film, and I want everyone to see the film. I think it speaks to us today, especially given all that we're going through with the Trump administration in office and the kind of repression that we see out there. I think that people are ready for this kind of film, and they want to feel some sense of unity. It's my belief that black people cannot solve the problem of racism by ourselves. We need willing partners, willing, like-minded, and like-hearted partners. And that's what this film talks about, the fact that all through history, it has never been about black and white, but right and wrong. And I think as long as we remember that and move forward together, we can make this the kind of world.
You said something interesting on WNT today. On that note, and basically we know that our children read about William Lloyd Garrison and the abolitionists, and we realize that Dr. King did walk over the Pettus Bridge with Hosea Williams and other people, and it was multiracial. But you basically said in WNC that we never had a moment of saying thank you, and that was a sort of a brilliant sort of reminder to me today when we think about the Quakers and the Shakers and the William Kunslers that were mentioned tonight. Why do you think it is that we haven't had the time or the moment or the unction to say thank you to the people that marched with us in our struggle?
I think like any other movement, it has taken us a while to mature. To understand the nature of the struggle, to understand the fact that even though the focus has been about black rights, about African American rights as American citizens, that we didn't do this by ourselves. And I think that it's very evident today as we see younger white people today stepping to the fore, and indeed they being the ones to speak out against white supremacy, more so than we are. I think it's time for us to take a step back and say, hey, you know what? We're black, yes, but we're human beings first. And if other human beings who don't look like us or share our background or our culture or our ethnicity see the value of our citizenship and are willing to put themselves on the line, put their very lives on the line to ensure that our citizenship is upheld, that is something that it's due time that we recognize and we say thank you for, because ultimately we have to live in this country together. I'm very proud to be a black man, and that'll never change. But just because I love my people doesn't mean that I hate yours. Just because I love my mother doesn't mean I hate yours. You know, I can't chew gum and walk at the same time, and I do believe that as a people, African Americans can and should be able to do that, to recognize that while we continue to fight for our freedom, at the same token we need to recognize who is also fighting, who is also side by side with us. And
this film gives us a step-by-step. What's wonderful about it is it gives us a step-by-step day in the lifetime of a 80-year-old man now that decided to take a stand without being a lawyer against racism and fascism and fight for black power. Um, I've never seen anything that took us step by step in someone's lifestyle, breath by breath, courage by courage, um, against all odds to stand up for um, people that didn't look like him. Um, how did you put all of that together? Like you said, I mean, through marriage, many marriages, which made it human and a little bit lighter, but it was a heavy, heavy lifetime.
Well, it's all in the personality of Al McSurely. As a young man, as a graduate of UNC at Chapel Hill back in the early 60s, um, he came of age in the midst of the civil rights movement. He came of age right after the Emmett Till situation. He came of age after what happened in Little Rock, Arkansas, how the black students there were spit upon, rocks, bottles, whatever else, when they tried to integrate the high schools there. He came of age during the 1963 March on Washington, led by Dr. King and others. And so he saw all of this around him and realized that he had a place in it. He realized that this country was not what it professed itself to be in terms of just. And he joined the Congress of Racial Equality, and he found his place in working to make sure that the poor were taken care of, to make sure that people of color were respected, and make sure that people's rights were upheld. So, as Al was a young man, he learned, and then it became the fulcrum of his life. And whereas now today he's 82 years of age and still going strong.
I think what was brilliant was and you said it in the beginning, he won a few Supreme Court cases. He was able to go to law school at a later age. So most of us understand you can't get into law school, you can't pass the bar if you're not cogent, if you're not correct, if you're not prudent, if you're not right according to the Constitution. And I think that might allow us to bring this into schools on a higher level, to actually mediate, to delve into his papers, to delve into his programs, to delve into his character, to delve into his cases in terms of case study. So I'm hoping that this will be an apparatus that can be used for civil discourse between even a skinhead or a KKK kid and a nationalist kid, so that we can get to the bottom of what we mean by our creedal ideas. I understand that you come from Brooklyn, and you come from the place of Shirley Chisholm. You come from the place of Bobby Kennedy helping with restoration being developed. So what from your youth and development has helped you to support so many North Carolinians and national people, in the public life?
I came up, I'm in my 60s, and I came up during the 60s civil rights movement. So that's something I've always carried with me, a love and appreciation for the courage and the leadership of Dr. King, Stokely Carmichael, Black Panther Party, and what have you. And you're right. I was a young man when Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm represented my district, ran for President of the United States. I believe this was 1972 or such. And she was a strong black woman, a strong leader. And when you're young, those things leave an impression on you. You can't forget those kind of folks, and you look to see if there are others just like them in your life or someplace around you. So that's really what sticks with me when I make a film like Al, my brother. The fact that we have this leadership, principled leadership, that knows that in order for there to be freedom, justice, and equality, we must have fighters, principled fighters, folks who get knocked down but know in their heart that they must continue to stand for what is right. How else do we teach our children that that's the way life is, that when you get knocked down, you must get back up?